Hello, this is Martha Bell, environmental educator at Island Heritage Trust. And today it's late summer, the early part of September, and we're at the Holt Mill Pond Salt Marsh. You may remember that we visited here early spring when things were still brown and just coming up. So we came back to see what has happened. And things have grown. I see all these grasses around me. The Spartina grasses, our tall cordgrass, Spartina alterniflora, actually even has seeds on it here. So these seeds will disperse and maybe we'll have more. This is the plant that likes to keep its roots really wet, usually closer to the deeper water. And then we have the salt meadow hay, these wisps that are kind of like calyx as they go up and down the salt marsh. And then I'm starting to see some late summer flowers as well. As we get a little closer, we'll take a look at some of the goldenrods and the asters. And I even see a sign of fall. Here's a red maple leaf that has fallen. So the seasons are definitely changing, but let's have a chance to explore and see what's going on when we look up close. Well, I'm down in the creek, a wonderful world down here. The grass is taller than I am, the Spartina alterniflora or cordgrass. And along the blade, I'm noticing there's lots of salt crystals that have been excreted by the Spartina. If I look closely, I can even see the spaces where the stomata are, and that's where the salt is excreted. And in the sun, it kind of glistens. So there's some beautiful Spartina grass. And then there's fish, and there's shrimp, and there's insects. And I came across these crabs. This is a green crab, which is actually an invasive crab from Europe. And they've certainly been a problem in shellfish beds and things like that. But let's take a look. This here is our green crab, decent size. They do get bigger than this. One way I'm telling the kids to remember is between the eye and the edge of the carapace, you can count those points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you spell the word green, G-R-E-E-N, 5 letters, 5 points, green crab, now you're an expert. The other thing we like to do with crabs is figure out if they're male or female. I have a little one here, which sometimes can be trickier to sex, but let's see. Oh, we can do this. Here we have a female with the wide triangle right there. That's where she'd hold her eggs. And then this is a male with the narrower triangle. So we have a male and a female green crab. So you can go out, find green crabs, make sure it's the right species by counting the points, check out the triangle, figure out it's male and female, and you'll be a green crab expert in no time. So we've moved up the creek a bit, and we're just taking in the beauty of the salt marsh, the golden colors of the grasses, the different heights, and the way the light is coming. The water is coming in fairly quickly now. The tide has turned. If I take a stick and I throw it into the creek, let's see if you can see any movement there. Try another. We're watching the water move, the mud banks, and on the side here I even see some clam shells, and I know further closer to the entrance of where the water enters the salt marsh, there's some big clam flats where lots of clams live. So we're just sort of seeing the remains, but animals come here to eat those clams. It might be raccoons, it might be birds flying in. On the way walking here, I actually saw deer tracks, so they'd be coming in to eat some of the vegetation. And we've seen great blue herons that would be coming in to fish, and osprey. So osprey are soaring above, and when it's high tide here, they would swoop right down with their talons, grab them with their padded talons, and then fly away with them facing forward and up to a tree, or maybe they bring it to their nest at this time of year where their young have grown just enough to fly and more or less be on their own, but once in a while the parents do bring a meal back to the nest so they can all dine together. We've moved further along the salt marsh and we're noticing some of these beautiful plants. We have some goldenrods and we have some asters, some beautiful late summer plants. And then I even have a little bit of sea lavender that broke off, but there's still a little flower here. Many of you have seen these. They sometimes end up in dried flower arrangements. But one of my favorite plants is this one here. This is Salicornia, sometimes called chicken feet. You can probably see why. Sometimes called glasswort or sea pickle. And sea pickle might give you the idea that it's edible. Salty. And a beautiful red color at this fall time of year. So I hope you get a chance to come out and explore during this season. We'll continue to explore all the preserves through all the seasons, but we're thinking one of our next winter trips will be at Reach Beach. We were there earlier in, I think it was springtime, but I'm wondering what it's like in the wintertime. So all these places you visit once, but keep going back. The seasons change, everything changes. There's so much to see. Happy exploring.